YouTube, be sure to check out RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com for everything Royal Caribbean related. RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com. Happy Monday. Every Monday, we are hanging out here on YouTube talking about the most important thing in the whole wide world, which, of course, is going on a Royal Caribbean cruise. And we're here to answer your cruise questions. And if you are joining us here, whether on the replay or watching us live and don't get to your question, check out RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com. But before we get started, we're going to get a lot of questions today, but there's only one that is the most important question, and that is how many days until your next Royal Caribbean cruise? Type your countdown in chat right now. Let's count down together. Did I install YouTube? We're live on YouTube. It has it's been a long day, ladies and gentlemen. It's been a long day, but I see Brogan is here. Welcome. Kathy at 34 days still Oasis of the Seas. My countdown is at 2, ladies and gentlemen. 2 days. Going on the Mariner of the Seas test cruise on Wednesday. It's going to be August is the month of Mariner for me. I'll be going on the test cruise, and then her first revenue sailing, I'll be back on board as well. So, yeah, Go Van Trues has the answer for everybody. It is just too long. It's just there's too many days until anybody's countdown, and that is absolutely true. So, of course, we're here to answer your questions. We'll start off with feel free to type your question in chat right now. We'll start off with a question from Lucas, who wants to know, hey, what do you think about Independence of the Seas? Fabulous ship. Independence was the first ship to be amplified back in 2018. And she's a wonderful Freedom class ship. Lots of space, cool things to do on board. You've got Grease, the Broadway musical, which is the old, well, that's not true. The other Freedom. It has a Broadway show on board. It's a great ship. I love Independence of the Seas. Vastly underrated, might I add, in the grand scheme of ships in general. Kind of floats under the radar for a lot of folks. Suzanne Turner says, did you have to do a COVID test before you board? I did, and I went today to get it. Suzanne, I went to CVS today, got my COVID test. I'm negative. Good news. And that was it. It's really easy. It's just a matter of just scheduling it more than anything. It was a little bit of it's a bit of a game right now to get a test, but if you do it in advance, as an example, I actually scheduled my COVID test for my upcoming Mariner cruise later in August, August 23rd. And so I scheduled that test for like the 20th or 21st. I forget exactly what day. And I scheduled it that day. And by schedule, when I scheduled today, which is, 2 weeks or so in advance, and there was plenty of availability to book that. So if you plan in advance, I think you'll be fine in terms of being able to find a spot to do it. And it was complimentary. Jason coming in with our first super chat. Thank you, Jason. Appreciate it. Appreciate it, buddy. Thank you. No message there, but I do appreciate your support. Thank you. Ray Thompson, you are very welcome. Next question is from Sean. Girlfriend's first overall cruise, my first Royal Caribbean cruise. Our check-in is 3. If we buy the key, can we board earlier? It remains to be seen, Sean. Royal Caribbean has not brought the key back right now, so we really don't know what the key will look like, what perks or benefits it may or may not have once it does come back. Right now, when there's such limited capacity, there's no reason to have the key available for guests. Now, when it does get back, there's a lot of possibilities, Sean. Perhaps there will be an option for you to be able to use the key to do something like that, or not. It may not. It's, the key was by the way, if you don't know what the key is an offering by Royal Caribbean in which you can buy into a lot of specific perks and benefits, like early access to check-in at the terminal, that is, special reserved seating for you at shows, special hours just for you at signature activities like the water slides, and a few more, includes the internet as well. It's a very contentious topic among cruise fans, whether or not it's worth it or not, Sean. But to answer your question as directly as I can, we don't yet know what changes, if any, will be made to the key, and if it will address that particular question. We got to wait for it to actually return as an option. Let's see here. Pokemon Argentina says, does anyone know the percentage of occupancy on ships nowadays? The Royal Caribbean has not announced any kind of percentages. Pokemon, it's really it's truly like you have to basically figure it out after the fact, like after someone gets on board the ship and they announce how many people are on board. Go for it from that standpoint. Josh Carruthers is here. Hello, Josh. We got a lot of super chats coming in. Holy moly. First, we'll start with the Cruise Addicts. 86 days till Oasis of the Seas. 98 till Freedom. Can't wait. So excited for the panoramic suite for both. Nice, dude. That is fantastic. The panoramic suite is really nice. Next up, a super chat from Dave and Sherry. Thank you, Dave and Sherry. Appreciate it. Sorry, dude, can't watch your channel anymore. Sherry just asked if we could watch the cute bald guy that knows everything. Well, since I look like Brad Pitt, I have no idea who she's talking about. But thank you, Dave and Sherry, for the super chat. My goodness. Angela Norton with an epic super chat. Woo! 42 days till Serenade of the Seas. Thanks for all you do. Angela, thank you for your support. I appreciate you very, very much. And we have another super chat coming in. Steve Notter, I'm going to get this right, Steve. Notter Nicola. Thank you for the super chat, buddy. Have you ever done Chef's Table? What do you think? Yeah. So Chef's Table is the specialty restaurant option where you have a curated meal. So you go to mostly specialty restaurants. It's like a restaurant kind of at home, right? Sit down at a table. Waiter takes your order. Orders go into the kitchen. They bring out your food. Pretty straightforward, right? Chef's Table is a very intimate experience. It is you and a bunch of other folks, usually around, I want to say about, somewhere in the ballpark about 10 or so. It may depend on the ship, but figure around that number. 10 or so people. And it can be, you'll be seen with strangers unless you buy up the whole thing. And there's like multiple courses. The meal experience takes many hours. And each offering each plate is paired with a glass of wine. And the waiter explains to you why you're getting such and such and how it's prepared. The chef comes out. They make this meal specifically for you. It's a very different kind of experience. And I actually enjoyed it. I did it on Mariner of the Seas right before the shutdown. And it was fun. At first, I got in there and I was like, what am I doing? What have I gotten myself into? And after a little while, I was like, you know what? This isn't really that bad. I actually enjoyed it. So, Mike Wolf, thank you for the super chat. Inspired by yourself to spot the complete ALF series. Thanks, Matt. Some good episodes in there, man. It does hold up pretty well. There's some very, very, very 80s things in there. A lot of Johnny Carson jokes. But that being said, I think it's a really fun show. I love me some ALF. I miss it. So, Anthony Johnson, when do you think Royal Caribbean will bring back kids sail free? You know, I don't think anyone really knows the answer to that question, Anthony. There's not been a kids sail free offer since for many, many months. There was one at least in the early part of the shutdown, but it has been missing. And I think a lot of folks are waiting for that as well. So I am simulcasting on Twitter. I do see that. There we go. Problem solved. Thank you, though. Thank you, Tyler. I totally missed that little switch over there. So let's see here. Karina wants to know, where is Mariner visiting? Just Perfect Day CocoCay in Nassau. She's doing on the test cruise. We're just going to Perfect Day CocoCay, and then when she resumes stuff for Port Canaveral, she's going back to the 3 and 4s for at least a little bit. So, Jason Lickert, hello and welcome. 12 Man Proud in here. What's up, my friend? Do you know if main dining is available for lunch on Ovation? Selling this Friday, and he received cancellation of all of his lunch in the main dining room. You usually can't book main dining room for lunch in advance. I'm not sure why that was able in the first place. But let me put it this way, 12 Man. Lunch is available in the main dining room on C days. So, yes, you can do. And, of course, it's open for breakfast and dinner every day. So, Mike G going on the big chalupa, 4 days to flying to Barcelona. Nice, dude. Nice. Patrick O with the super chat. Greetings from Allure of the Seas. There are so few people on board that my Wi-Fi flirted with 100 megabits a second this afternoon. Oh, man. Twankster, who's in the chat right now, would love that. That would be amazing. Wow, that is incredible throughput. And let me tell you something. Being able to go on a cruise right now with such limited capacity is the bee's knees, ladies and gentlemen. It is absolutely amazing. Really, really nice. Nancy wants to know, does anyone know if the Walgreens offers ID now and antigen tests for COVID fast results? I believe they do antigen tests as well. It needs to be either antigen or PCR, as you may know, Nancy. But I believe, depending on your location, they may or may not offer certain ones. Like when I was looking it up for myself, Nancy, I saw some locations didn't have the PCR one as an example, but they have multiple choices in the drop down as well. David Winterbottom, thank you for the super chat, buddy. Baby video game controllers isn't a diaper under the word noob. Thank you, my friend. Appreciate that. I love the descriptions, the alternative text descriptions of the emojis that come through. Appreciate it. Hey, Chip is here. What's up, man? When do they let you know if you're vaccinated or non-vaccinated group for the test cruise? At check-in, Chip. It's kind of a mystery. Surprise! They tell you at check-in, from what I understand. So, let's see. Tri-State Killa in the house. Up, my friend. I'm booked for September out in New Jersey on Oasis. When will they announce protocols at a Bayonne. It's getting close and hope they don't announce last minute. Well, I don't know if it'll be last minute. You're probably your Tri-State. Are you on the first sailing? All right, I take back what I said. It might be closer to last minute. You know, Tri-State, I put out a video for tomorrow on our YouTube channel. I'm sure you're gonna watch it because you're super awesome. And in there, I talk about one of the realities. Like it's a truth of what is happening right now, and that is protocols can come in at any given time, and they can change at any given time. And yes, they very well could be at the last minute. So if you're booking one of these cruises going out soon, that's great. I mean, I think overall you're in for a great experience, but you have to be able to roll with the punches a little bit because sometimes these things change, or in this case, you're going to be waiting a little bit closer to your stay. Now, for all I know, Tri-State, they may announce it, tomorrow or something like that. I'll be honest with you, Tri-State, if I were you, I'd probably be looking at the protocols for Allure of the Seas. It's probably going to be more similar than not, but I understand exactly where you're coming from, and yeah. Journey with Josh at the most amazing time on Adventure of the Seas. The staff is absolutely incredible on Adventure. Love that ship. Karina says, the app has text message notifications available in the texting app. Yes, if you enable the feature, yes, I was able to use it as well. Gary Cooper, are masks required on the cruise? They are. If you're sailing out of the actually, I think almost everywhere. I don't think it's anywhere now you can't do this. When you're indoors, vaccinated or not, you do need to wear a mask. If you're outdoors or at Perfect Day CocoCay, you do not need a mask. But if you're fully vaccinated, Gary, and you're on a cruise ship and you're going from point A to point B, you have to wear your mask. But if you're actively eating, if you're actively drinking, if you're in a vaccinated zone, in a restaurant, you don't need to wear, and seated, you don't need to wear your mask. So there are exceptions there. Let's see here. Devin's got a great question. Is there a list of ships that support 5 people to a cabin? No, there's not a master list. Typically, Devin, you're looking at suites. And when it comes to people who are looking for, like Devin, you want to have 5 people in a room. It's actually a mistake. Well, if you got money, okay, maybe not be a mistake. But let me put it this way, Devin. Instead of looking for a room for one room for 5 people, look for 2 rooms, maybe even smaller rooms than maybe that suite that you'd be looking for 5, like a connecting balcony or connecting inside cabin. You're going to find, number 1, more space. Number 2, an extra bathroom. And number 3, probably a better price and separation, which I absolutely love. So I would say go in that direction. Josh Carruthers with an epic super chat. Woo! Thank you, Josh. 24 days Celebrity Summit, 88 till Freedom, 104 days till that epic Royal Caribbean Blogger Cruise on Freedom of the Seas. Josh, my friend, I know we just cruised together in June, but it's been too long. I can't wait for number 3 on your list, probably because you didn't invite me to the other ones, but that's okay. We're going to have a great time on the Royal Caribbean Blog Group Cruise on Harmony of the Seas. I know that our good friend Becky Menken from MEI Travel is in their chat right now, and Becky she is so excited. She is probably pouring herself a green drink right now to celebrate because we are so close. Tamika wants to know, do you have to take a test prior to boarding, even if you're fully vaccinated? Yes, that's a recent change, Tamika. I'm fully vaccinated. I had to get a test today in order to do that. So one extra thing to do, not a giant deal. Like, it was just one extra thing to do, and it was pretty simple actually. So, Beachy Mama wants to know, Matt, is this your second test cruise? Yes, I went on the Allure test cruise, and this will be my second test cruise on Mariner of the Seas. So, Stacy RC says, is it true that 3 and 4 night sailings don't require COVID testing for vaccinated passengers? No, not anymore. That was the case like last week, but then Royal Caribbean changed it. Basically, Stacy, any cruise, 3 and 4 nighters included, vaccinated or not, you need to get tested before your cruise. So, yep. There you go. Barry wants to know, can you get food from the dining room to go? Thanks. You can. Absolutely. Just ask the wait staff. You can do that as well. So, all right, we've got some holy moly. We've got some super chats coming in. First of all, Andy coming in with super chat. Please give me your honest opinion. What do you think about purchasing fine jewelry either on board or in ports like Diamonds International? I think my honest opinion is I don't buy jewelry on board, and I definitely don't buy my jewelry at Diamonds International. I have less of a problem with the shop on board. I might look at the place on board. I don't think we've ever actually bought it on there. For me personally, and this is my opinion, I find the jewelry, like, I want to have a little bit of a story or a memory. Not that the ship isn't a memory, but like I love buying my wife jewelry. We go to like Cozumel or St. Thomas and going to a store, getting to know, there's a lot of great jewelry stores that are out there. And diamonds, listen, when you're a major brand like that, I'm just not sure they're competing as much with in the price game necessarily. So I kind of stray away from those. Plus, they use some tactics for sales that I don't necessarily agree with. But I do like buying jewelry. I don't have a problem with buying in either place. I mean, number one, you got to be comfortable with it. Number two, if they got the piece you want, they got the piece you want, right? Jewelry is a little bit of art more than anything. So, yeah. Holy moly, 12 man proud with an amazing slap your grandma super chat. Holy moly. Wow. Thank you, my friend. Thanks for posting the entertainment schedule and the message boards really helped me plan daily schedules. You know, if the Norths are on day 2 and day 7 is worth $29, you get 15 minutes, but they'll swing you over the side of the ship. Let's put it this way. I don't know what days your schedule is, 12th man. I would say this. If those are times in which you're near a glacier, I would say it's worth $29 to me. If you've never done the North Star, number one, you should do the North Star. Number two, if you're paying extra, like, forgive me, I don't know if there's complimentary times and extra cost times or just extra cost times. The North Star is an absolute must do in my opinion. So from that standpoint, yes. But if those days are just like sea days, I would wait for it when it's complimentary. But if it's at a glacier, I think that would be worth it, my friend. I would probably pull the trigger on that one, quite frankly, in my opinion. So, Alyssa is going to get her test at CVS. How long were you there? 5 minutes. It was really easy. I waited in my car. They called me. I had to go in for this one. They didn't have an outdoor test, but I went in. They let me know when I could come inside. Came inside, gave my information, did the test. I mean, it was in and out in 5 minutes, Alyssa. They did really, really well. Hey, Joanne Griffith is here. How do you think the NCL court injunction will affect cruise protocols? Unknown at this time. I was talking to a lawyer today about this because it's very unclear, even to the lawyers right now. Does NCL's injunction, preliminary injunction against Florida, is it just apply to NCL? Do other cruise lines have to basically file a motion as well, or does it apply to all cruise lines? That's a little vague right now. I don't know the answer to that one. If you're unaware, late last night, Sunday, the judge ruled in that lawsuit and favored NCL, Norwegian Cruise Line Holdings, against the state of Florida. Basically, they said that law that Florida has that says you can't mandate, you can't tell someone you can't come out, businesses cannot turn someone away because of COVID status. That law is not. I don't know. I don't want to say it's unconstitutional, but it is. The judge ruled that the NCL was right, that they should be able to do that, and granted a preliminary injunction there. So a lot more can happen there, but it remains to be seen. Honestly, Joanne, I don't know how it's going to affect Royal Caribbean because got to know what's going to happen on that. Some good questions there. Luke John, thank you for the super chat. Any update on Labadee? Nothing official. A lot of sailings have had their itineraries changed. As an example, John, I have my Odyssey of the Seas cruise September 5th, and we were supposed to go to Labadee, and they rearranged the entire itinerary. We're not going to Labadee anymore. We're going to CocoCay and now Cozumel and Costa Maya. And that's not the only sailing that has changed. I'm not aware of a formal announcement by Royal Caribbean like, hey, we're not going to Labadee anymore or until this date or something like that. I think they're quite frankly just probably rolling with the punches as well. As things change, they're changing their protocols there. So, yeah. Ainsley wants to know, are MasterCard when taking photos planning to purchase packages? That's a great question. I think in Singapore, I know that they had a rule against this. I think they allow you to take your mask off for the photos, even if you are indoors, as long as you're just, doing it quickly, taking the photo and then off. I could try, Ainsley, to see when I'm on Mariner. Actually, you know what? Ainsley, ask me again this question when I'm on Mariner of the Seas. I could almost certainly get you an answer for it. So, Jeff Leonard with the super chat. Woo! Thank you, Jeff. What a legend. 27 absolutely agonizing days till Oasis. Dude, first of all, thank you for your generosity. Second of all, let me tell you something, Jeff. You're not wrong. When you get within when your cruise is 300 days away, whatever, days just bleed away. You don't even pay attention. When you get within, I believe it's 6 weeks. When you get within that 6-week window, and you're in that 4-week window right now, my God, every day is it's still Monday. You know that scene from Back to the Future where Doc Brown is waiting for Marty at the very end, and he's and he looks at his watch damn. He's every watch he's checking exactly the same time. It's totally that, my friend. Yes. Penny, yes, testing even for 4-night cruises as well. Fred Parker, what's up, man? I'm a positive person getting sad. Testing requirements are not a good thing for us. We can't get this within the timeline how to cancel. I'm surprised by that, Fred. I mean, I don't know where you live, and for all I know, you live in the middle of no offense, in the middle of nowhere or in a rural area. But there are a lot of testing places, even here in Florida. I was able to get a test. It's a little bit of a game, especially if you're trying to do it at the last minute. But there are walk-in clinics that you can go to as well. So don't assume that places that take reservations are your only option. There are a lot of urgent care spots that offer testing without appointments, just first come, first serve. And you get in there in the morning, you're gonna get a test. So there are more than just CVS, Walgreens, and Rite Aid, as an example. Also, your local government may offer free testing as well. Again, I don't know where you live, Fred, but I'm sorry to hear you had to cancel the cruise. But for anybody else that's out there, make sure you look at all your options. Don't just assume that the places that offer reservations are the end all be all of what's available to you. But I certainly listen, man. I had to cancel my Ovation of the Seas cruise that I was supposed to go on Friday with Becky, and it doesn't matter what the reason is, my friend. It always stinks. Shootoo. Great name. Thank you for the super chat. My Brilliant Cruise in October was canceled. Can I use my FCC for an allure sailing? I've already booked February. Yes, absolutely. You can apply it to there. As soon as you get that FCC credit, apply it. You're good to go. Next question from Danielle. What is your favorite thing about Oasis of the Seas? My gosh. What would I pick? There's Aqua 80s. There's the amazing escape room on board. There is Cats, the Broadway musical. There is the Portside Barbecue Restaurant, which I absolutely love. There is Izumi Hibachi, which I absolutely love. There is 150 Central Park, which I absolutely love. I'm going to say, you know what? At the end of the day, Danielle, I'm going to give you the answer, Central Park. I'm a Central Park kind of guy. I love the ambiance. I love the dining. I love there's something special about that area. It's something that you don't find on other ships, obviously. Absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. So, hey, Allison, going on Harmony in October. What's the new boarding process like? Well, assuming the process in Spain is the same as the boarding process here in the U.S., basically, Allison, number one, before your cruise, you'll have the opportunity to do the online check-in through the Royal Caribbean app. That gives you a check-in time. Then you arrive at that time. Yes, the time matters. You can't just show up at any time you want anymore. Show up at that time. They're going to you'll be providing your vaccination status information. You're going to be obviously showing them that you're checked in, and then basically that's the only major difference. Other than that, then you just go through the terminal, do your usual stuff. The biggest difference, Allison, is that the check-in times are now enforced, and that means they have less people in the cruise terminal. So they try to move you through the entire way rather than the old days of just letting everybody come in there and packing in that waiting area. They just want to keep it as socially distanced as possible, quite frankly. Just saying is here. It says, when will Canadians with mixed vaccine dosages be accepted in the Royal Caribbean? Potentially, yes. It depends primarily on what type of mixed vaccines you have. But I think more of an issue, just saying, is not that at this point. My understanding, the bigger issue for Canadians is how long it's been from shot 1 to shot 2. Evidently in Canada, and again, your government told you to do this, so you didn't do anything wrong, that the time between the two shots is greater than, I believe, the 49 days the CDC is mandating right now that it be no greater than. That could change. That very well could change going forward. But as it stands right now, there's a lot of folks that can't. What's above a slap your grandma super chat? I think it's pretty much whatever 12 Man Proud hits me with. I think he deserves that. We're gonna have I think the new category, Devin, is OMG. It's a 12 Man Proud super chat. He's defined his own category because the man is a madman. We love him. Sheila wants to know. Sheila with an H on Freedom in 1 week. Is the coffee card worth it? It can be. The nice thing about the coffee card is you can share the coffee card with somebody else. So let's say you and your spouse, you and your kids, you and this amazing YouTube blogger who's on your ship that looks like Brad Pitt, you want to share the coffee card, you can, unlike the drink package. So that means you can, the value of it is substantial. It will save you money compared to obviously buying the same amount of coffee drinks a la carte with cash. So yes, it can be worth it. Again, Sheila, you've got to make sure you use up all the card by the end of the cruise to make it worthwhile. So, hey, Stephen Z, how many guests do you think they can squeeze into Cocoa Beach Club? The number I've always heard is, I believe the regular capacity, forget the cabanas for a second, is right around 200, and then the cabanas add about another 200. So the total capacity, Stephen, for the Cocoa Beach Club is right around, it's a little over 400 something people. So Beachy Mama, Matt, I heard they're going forward with the ship amplifications. You know when Liberty and Allure will receive theirs. You probably heard about that on the Royal Caribbean Blog podcast or at royalcaribbeanblog.com because I broke that news last week. But no, there's no dates or anything like that. It's on the table kind of situation. You know what I mean? So, let's see here. Bonito wants to know, can you use the Diamond Plus drink vouchers for cappuccino? Absolutely. It's available. You can use it for alcoholic and non-alcoholic beverages in advance. Daniel wants to know, how far in advance before your cruise do you have to test negative? Up to 3 days before, Daniel. So the way to think about it, if my cruise is on Wednesday, okay? So I could do the test on Tuesday, Monday today, or Sunday yesterday. That makes sense. Next question is from David. Wants to know, we're going on Oasis this December 5th, staying in the Aqua Suite. First time. What should we expect to see? Some really nice service and an amazing room. Dude, I hope you take advantage of your room. Not only because of the space and everything, but an immersive giant balcony that just goes on and on and on. It's an incredible space. You're going to love it. You're going to love it. So, let's see. Next question, my very good friend Teresa McShane. By the way, Teresa, did you get the invite to the Facebook group? I just want to make sure because I double checked that today. I'm at 6 weeks today, and it seems forever away. There's something to Teresa about that 6 week window where all of a sudden you're like, it becomes like this, like time slows down. You know that song, "Time Goes Slowly." I can't even say it, but I have it in my head. Yeah. Let's see here. Dave Lucas, Mike. What's going on, Dave? Hope you're doing well, my friend. Haven't talked to you in a little bit, but hope you're doing well. Yeah, and Kathy, this is great information, Kathy. The difference between the antigen test is the rapid test. I got my result. I took my test. I got it back in about half an hour. I took it, got home, and when I got home, the test result was already there. So yeah. The antigen test is what you can do a PCR test if you want to, but it usually takes about a day or two for it to make sense. Hey, we got some Marines in the house. Semper-Fi, hoorah! I'm not a Marine, but I appreciate all the members of our military. I always say thank you to everyone who's serving or has served our military, so that nerds like me can talk about cruising instead of doing those things that you can do that I would cry if I had to do half the things you've done. So to all the members of the military out there, thank you so much. Let's see here. Carla wants to know, any clearance on Symphony? Well, Symphony of the Seas is going to be having her test cruise coming up at the end of this month. She is scheduled for... Oh no, she already had her test cruise. She had her test cruise on August 1st. I'm thinking of Oasis of the Seas. I believe she's good to go, Carla. I have no reason to believe she's not. Let's put it that way. So, Eric wants to know, why are vaccinated people on adventure having to wearing wristbands on this most recent sailing? I think these are just protocols. Royal Caribbean is trying to stay one step ahead of what's going on right now. I'll be honest, Eric, I'm not sure sometimes if new protocols are a result of the cruise line's choice or if it's also the government. Don't forget, Royal Caribbean answers to the Bahamian government in there, just like they do the CDC here in the U.S. and Singapore, the Ministry of Health in Singapore, on quantum of the seas. So, David's got an trivia question. Do you know the word posh comes from the cruising world? I do not. What is it like? As in, like, it's very posh, it's very nice or fancy, that kind of thing? I just assumed it was a word that our British friends came up with because it sounded proper. Great question here from Sarah. If your children are in a different cabin, have a different check-in time, how is that handled? In my experience, and I've done this, Sarah, they don't care. Just don't say anything. Just show up. What I do, Sarah, is I just show them the check-in time for the earliest one on my phone, or you print it out, whatever you want to do. They didn't care about the other one. Like when you're a family like that, that's fine. Now, if it's my uncle or my parents, that might be different because obviously they can see that. But I hope that makes sense. Kevin says, did you get selected for the Mariner Test Cruise as a result of entering your information to the Volunteers of the Seas page that opened 24 hours the other day? Yes, as far as I know, yes. And Kevin, I freely admit when I get invites from Royal Caribbean, like on the Allure Test Cruise, I got on that test cruise because I was a member of the media. The PR department reached out to me, said, Matt, do you want to come on this test sailing? Heck yeah. And then I got the invite, right? In this situation, Kevin, I signed up in that 24-hour period on Friday. I got an email, just again, no contact from the PR department. And then I got the invite just like everybody else who got their invites. My emails look exactly the same. So as far as I know, the answer to your question is yes. I have no reason to believe otherwise. Gotta have faith. Great name. If your guest decides not to go on a cruise, can the name on the reservation be changed? Yes, actually, very easily. Changing names is no problem at all. As long as at least one person from the original reservation stays on there, you're good to go. Tony Diaz with the super chat. Thank you, Tony. I'm bummed out about the cancellation of my cruise with my dad. Just mentioned a group cruise, and I'll be happy again. Let me tell you something, Tony. Becky Menken and I are working hard on making you happy again, my friend. We're working. Actually, she's working more hard than I am on this, but we there are things in the works. Is Mariner a good first ship booked cruise for next year? It's a fantastic ship. You'll love Mariner to see. Great ship, great value as well. 12th man wants to know, is Izumi on Ovation just sushi, or do they have hot stone? Don't see the hot stone option. Definitely not hot stone. They have just sushi on the promenade. It's kind of like, I don't know if you're familiar with Quantum or Anthem, but same basic idea. Jeanette Solero with the super chat. Thank you, Jeanette. Fully vaccinated here, cruising freedom of the seas in the Bahamas. Will I need a COVID test? It will be a PCR antigen. Thank you. Thank you for your generosity, Jeanette. You will need a COVID test before your cruise. It's your choice of PCR or antigen. Either one will work. I think you probably want antigen because the results come back very quickly. But you'd have to get it up to 3 days before you're sailing, Jeanette. That's the policy right now. Could that change? Absolutely. But as of right now, no. KB in the UK. Do the 4 drinks get issued at the start of the day or 5 o'clock? Start of the day. I think actually technically they get issued at midnight. I've never tested this out personally, like if the new ones roll out at midnight exactly. But no, they're all day, KB. So you don't have to wait till 5 o'clock anymore. What date is the test cruise for Oasis, Daniel? That information is at royalcaribbeanblog.com, and our main menu is the test cruises. But I'll tell you, buddy, it's August 22nd. August 22nd. Mr. Shadow, tell us more about the home test. What's the procedure? I ordered my own home test. I'm going to have one coming by, and I'm going to try it out for one of my upcoming cruises, Mystery Shadow. But basically, you have the box. You don't open it yet. You do a Zoom call with the company. You go through their process. They arrange a Zoom call. Have you ever done like a teledoc kind of thing? It's that kind of situation. They have you on video. They instruct you what to do. You basically, there's a little test kit. You swab your nose, the bottom of your nose. It's nothing crazy. You're not doing a brain tickler. You then put the swab back in the kit. It takes a little bit. It takes about 15 minutes for it to process, and then it'll tell you your results, and you're good to go. So and again, there are many, but the one that the Abbott. I want to make sure I get this right because there's more than one, and I apologize. I didn't get this right the first time. It is the Abbott Binax Now COVID-19 AG card home test. More information about this, the at-home test, at royalcaribbeanblog.com, because they just announced this earlier today, or they approved it, I should say, over the weekend. I posted about it earlier today. I should have mentioned, by the way, that if anyone's going to ask about the Aqua Suite, Becky Menken is a temporary residence over there, I'm pretty sure. How long is the mask mandate for, Jim? Until further notice. I don't think there's a set date on that. Keith, thank you for the super chat, buddy. Woo! Thank you. Great information. Thank you, Keith. I appreciate you. My goodness. Thank you. And holy moly. Woo! Sharon Stockman. Thank you, Sharon. How does testing work for the second leg of the back-to-back cruise? Basically, my understanding of it, Sharon, is that you'll get at the end of cruise number 1. Someone just posted about this. This is actually how I know about this right now. At the end of cruise number 1, everyone else gets off the ship. You go down, get your test at the end of cruise number 1. They wait for the results, and then they go through the usual back-to-back process. So they do the test on board the ship. That's my understanding of it, Sharon. That's what I've heard from other folks who have done that. When I did a back-to-back on Adventure of the Seas, granted, that was back in June, it was a very similar process where we got tested. We got tested in one foul swoop. So they brought us to the main dining room. We got a test on one side of the dining room, went to the other side of the dining room, and then were called down once our test results were done to get our new CPAS card and whatnot. But they're still doing the test on board the ship for those folks. Thank you, Sharon. Amazing support. And I've got some good news for you coming up very, very soon. I think you're going to enjoy. Yeah, something you've been asking for a while. There's the song Mike Wolf. Yeah, time after time. Shayna, is Independence Disease going to be selling with unvaccinated? I guess if so, how do you someone apply for exemption? I believe, and again, this all could change, Shayna. But right now, Royal Caribbean for cruises out of Florida, and this could change. But right now, for cruises out of Florida, if you are unvaccinated, basically you don't say anything to them. They're going to give you an opportunity to well, you don't have to. I guess they're going to give you an opportunity before your cruise sails to designate if you're unvaccinated or not. You would say I'm unvaccinated, and then that's basically it. You'll have to take a test before the cruise. You'll take a test at the terminal. There's an extra cost with that. There are restrictions placed upon you, Shayna. So keep in mind, there's some venues that will not be available to you as an unvaccinated guest, but obviously you'd be able to go outside without any problems at all. Perfect Day CocoCay as well. But it's not like Carnival where you have to like apply for it. You just basically tell them that you're unvaccinated. But again, that's only for cruises out of Florida right now. That's the availability. And this could all change. Who knows what's going to happen with that lawsuit with NCL and whatnot. So yeah. Let's see here. I think I'm caught up on the super chats. Thank you guys so much. Back to the question. We love the questions, guys. So please keep these questions coming. Great. And if I missed your question earlier, please feel free to type it in chat yet again. Let's see. Okay, Tammy wants to know, do we have to wear trackers in the pool? Are they waterproof? So let me be very clear, Tammy. They're not waterproof, but that's not what I'm going to be clear about. As of right, unless something has changed, tracelets are not being required on all ships yet. I wore one on a test cruise on Allure, but like as an example, folks that went on the first Odyssey of the Seas cruise, revenue sailing, did not have to have it. So it's unclear yet if they're going to be required or not. But no, you would not wear them in the pool. They're not waterproof. They told us that when we were on Allure of the Seas. Debbie says, will I be able to make a 1030 amplified on my 70 cruise on Miami, or am I cutting it? You're cutting it too close, Debbie. I mean, you theoretically could. I would not recommend that. I would say you should do a flight no earlier, than 11:30. I mean, I would pick noon if you could. 10:30 is cutting it too close. You're going to drive. You're playing with fire, in my opinion. Is it possible? Yes, of course, it's possible. But I think you're playing with fire, if you ask me. MD wants to know, what is the average cost of food at Symphony and Perfect Day? $0.00 in both the ship and Perfect Day CocoCay. There's complimentary food on both. You do not have to spend a dime on any food you do not want. In fact, Perfect Day, you really have to go out of your way to spend extra money on food on the island. Obviously, on Symphony of the Seas, there are extra cost restaurants. Most of the extra cost restaurants have a cover charge. So they don't charge you per se for each item you're ordering. You just pay a flat fee, and then all the food is included on the menu there, like Chops Grill, 150 Central Park, Jamie's Italian, etc. There are some restaurants that have a la carte charge. Basically, you pay for as you go. Izumi Sushi is one of those. But again, you can get on the ship and pay nothing extra, and you're good to go. Andy says posh equals port out, starboard home. The position of the Really? How did that go from that to like posh spice? That seems like quite a jump right there. Anu wants to know, do you think Royal Caribbean will go to 100% vaccinated after the NCL ruling? Well, number one, it's unclear if the lawsuit ruling applies only to NCL right now, or if like Royal Caribbean would have to file a motion on behalf of the Royal Caribbean group to get the same thing. Will there be an appeal? I don't think anything's going to change today or tomorrow, certainly. I think there's got to be a little bit of fallout when it comes to everything else that's over there. So remains to be seen is my best answer. Hey, Terry, thanks for the tip about email to use to get my cruise card for being a stockholder. Finally got after my 2 upcoming cruises. Nice, dude. That is fantastic. Marcus, would you recommend taking more than 1 COVID test before sailing? No. I mean, you either have COVID or you don't. I know there's always that risk of a, false positive. I would say in that scenario, you could probably find something. I mean, I don't know where you live, Marcus, but for what I did, it did cross my mind a little bit, but I think you'll be fine with just one. That being said, Marcus, I would say you should probably do it, on the first available. Like, don't wait till the last minute to take your test. So you have a little bit of extra time just in case. Oh, see, Don Goldstein. I had no idea. I just thought it was the name of a Spice Girls member. So, yeah. Let's see. So Smoky Bandit says you're all wrong, by the way. What's up, Smoky Bandit? That definition of posh is an urban legend. It was in use long before the acronym was first created. Fight, fight, fight. I mean, don't fight. Don't argue about this. I just feel like we could stir. I don't mind. Usually I'm not for stirring the pot, but in this situation, we're arguing about an acronym. I don't mind stirring the pot. I didn't even know it was an acronym. I thought it was legitimately the name of a Spice Girl. I've been lied to my entire life. Am I going on Symphony of the Seas? I don't have anything booked yet on Symphony of the Seas. Yet is what it is. Sharon Stockman. Shh. Sharon. Shh. What other vlobbers? I know what you meant. Do I follow? Sharon Crucips TV, Emma Cruises, Griffin Alyssa, Tony's a good friend of mine. I met a lot of them on Adventure this season. I mean, there's so many great folks that are out there. The Ship Life. You know what's funny is I remember his channel, but I forgot his name. I'm so sorry. But there's some cool dudes and dudettes out there. Really talented folks. Let me tell you something. What I do, obviously we're talking cruise advice, but these guys shoot like amazing video. And I am like, I'm not good at that kind of stuff. So a lot of great persons out there. So Fred says, Becky is so helpful. You need to give her a free cruise. You know, there's a rule here, Fred. I think you must have missed it on orientation. We don't compliment Becky directly. It's kind of like gremlins. Like you don't feed them after midnight. You don't compliment Becky directly because then she's just, she's, first of all, she only cruises in suites. I can't afford yeah. You're not wrong, but thank you, my friend. Becky does a great job. And of course, Becky will be the first to tell you that while, she does a great job, it's really her agents, the other agents at NEI Travel that really do the hard work. They're the heavy lifters, the real heroes there. So, absolutely. Quainty loves the idea of the home testing. You can buy several tests. It's a great idea. Just make sure you buy the right one. That's a lesson that I learned earlier today. So I bought. Where'd it go? Okay, I bought a test. Hang on. Found it. Okay. So now I can't turn off the flashlight on my phone. Okay, there we go. So there are multiple of this is not the right one. This is not the right one. This is the one you can take this at home, but it does Royal Caribbean does not approve this one. But Abbott, who makes this one, they make other ones as well. And to your point, you can stockpile a bunch of them. They last for a long time, and then use them as you need it. It would be something like for like Fred Parker. Get a bunch of those, not the correct one, and then have them ready to go as you go forward. So Frank says they're doing traceless on Allure this season right now. Interesting. I was not aware of that. That's news to me. But I guess we'll find out when I get on Mariner later this month. James just got back from Odyssey of the Seas. Welcome back. The ship is different. There is no open atrium. It's like a mall. The pools are small as well. We had a great time. My liver needed a break. That sounds like someone got the drink package working for them right there. Do you have to wear their band on the wrist? No. So Kathy, you can wear it anywhere. It's just your contact traces. You can wear it on your belt buckle, in your bag. You just have to have it with you everywhere you go. Do they retest you mid-cruise? The only ship they retest you mid-cruise is the Adventure of the Seas, to my knowledge, because you need to get back in the US. You need to test for that one. But no, for the other ones, I'm not sure. Hey, Michael S. is here. What can an average cruiser to myself do to influence the home port of a ship? I'd love to have Anthem home port in Boston. I don't think, boy, I listen, number one, we're good friends. I support you. I'd love for that to happen. Basically, you got to start a letter writing campaign, man, is your best bet. And you and every single person in the city of Boston. Boston is not a typical home port. It's a seasonal one at best. And I'm honestly not sure, Michael, if the port can handle Anthem, but that's irrelevant. I would say that's such a secondary concern at this point. I think, quite frankly, it's just Boston's not a traditional home port. You've got Cape Liberty in New Jersey, They also have a contract there with there, so they got to keep certain size ships in there. I don't want to say it's impossible. Nothing's impossible, Michael, but I think it's highly, highly unlikely that will ever happen. But I wish you the best of luck right there. Paul, will there be a private podcast to outline events for the group cruise? There will be podcast episode. We usually do one to preview it, so I'd say yes. But there's a Facebook group as well, Paul, to kind of pull that up as well. So you got a super chat coming in, Teresa McShane. Thank you, Teresa. Again, there are lots of great bloggers out there, but let's vote. Who's the best? Matt. Oh, shucks. You love me. You really love me. Thank you. Do I have the Diamond Plus perks on test sailings? They do not. No, you don't get your Diamond benefits on free cruises. So, yeah. Any idea what to do if the test shows positive? Well, if you're doing it at home, I would recommend you get another test done. I would also recommend you probably get a PCR test. They're more accurate. They take a little more longer. That's why I would say do it as early as you can, the antigen test. But I would do a PCR test. If that came back positive, you got COVID, dude. You ain't going on your cruise. But yeah. But take another test would be probably the best course of action right there. Susan Westfall with a super chat. Thank you, Susan. Appreciate it. We'll be going on Serenade in 7 days. Fingers crossed for COVID tests. Any word on the number of passengers right now? Not that I've heard. No. Unfortunately, Susan, I don't have a number for you. I'm sorry. I don't know anyone who went on Serenade recently, but I think they're still at pretty low numbers. They're not like Carnival that just shoved everybody there. Can you guys believe? Listen, I get it. I'm a Royal Caribbean fanboy. We all know that. Can you believe that Carnival Mardi Gras first sailing, not back, but like ever, 70% capacity? Okay, must be nice. I'm not sure why their rules are so different for them, but anyway. Stephen Z, super chat. Thank you, buddy. Great info. No. We don't have to do that. But thank you, Stephen. I appreciate your generosity as always and your support. Thank you. Another super chat coming in. Sharon Stockman. Woo! Can children under 11 go on cruises docking in the USVI? Yeah, the St. Thomas thing. I'm not sure, honestly, Sharon, what the rule is on that. What Royal Caribbean is working with that in that. I'd have to look up what the policy was. I'm gonna simply say, Sharon, I hate to do this because obviously you don't need money. Number one, I always want to give you the best answer I can. I am not familiar enough with the subject to know an answer to that question. I know that a lot of folks want to know what to expect with that, especially if our cruises coming up there. I know that Allure, if you're unaware, a week or two ago, the U.S. Virgin Islands basically said if you're not vaccinated on a cruise ship, you ain't coming to the Virgin Islands. And so the Royal Caribbean was like, well, because of that, if you're unvaccinated, you're not coming on the cruise. I don't recall how it applies to children. I don't recall that particular one, and I don't want to guess because that's people's vacations. So yeah. Teresa McShane with another super chat. Thank you, Teresa. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Colleen says just Googled it, and 10 hours ago, Royal Caribbean accepts CDC approved at-home test. Picture in the report. Yep, not the same one. That's correct. This is the wrong test. Do not buy this one. It's the one that Colleen wrote there. This is the wrong test. Still works, but it's not going to be acceptable by Royal Caribbean. That's all. Okay, so thank you. I'm going to trust Ashley because Ashley is one of the smartest people I know. She knows this stuff probably better than I do, quite frankly. Anyway, she says if you're under 12, you're good to go on the USVI. So I'm going to defer to her on that one. But I do agree with Chris that it's a little confusing. I mean, unfortunately, there's a lot of this going on. There's different government restrictions. One government says one thing, one government says another thing. We're caught in the middle, guys. I recognize that. My only best advice to you is not to worry too much about everything happening at once. Focus on your next sailing and kind of I don't want to say put blinders up. It's always good to be aware of what's happening in the industry, certainly. But I think that you don't get too wrapped up in some of the other stuff because, again, it could all change. Tracy wants to know, can you use different devices at different times, even one device internet package? Yes. You just sign out of device A, sign into device B. There's unlimited amount of devices you can use, just one at a time. So, absolutely. Mike P with a super chat. Thank you, buddy. I'm loyal to Royal and love Royal Caribbean. Diamond Plus. Welcome to the Diamond Plus group. It's not a group, it's just me. Thank you, Mike P. Appreciate it. Thank you. And do I see Beth Dickerson from MEI Travel? Beth, I hear you calling, but I can't come home right now. Me and the boys are going on a Mariner of the Seas this week. Let's see here. Epcot festivals. Oh man, all of a sudden I have the Epcot entrance music stuck in my head now. What do you think the occupancy will be on Symphony of the Seas? Have you been on an Oasis class ship since the cruising resumed? I've been on Allure of the Seas for a test cruise. There was only a couple hundred people on board, so that's not exactly the same thing. I don't have an Oasis class booked until, as of right now anyway, Harmony of the Seas, the Royal Caribbean Blog group cruise in Thanksgiving. But regardless, Epcot festivals, what I will tell you is this is what Royal Caribbean said during their earnings call last week. Whenever a ship starts up, like Symphony, they're going to start up small with very limited capacity and slowly grow from there. So I don't know exactly when you're going on Symphony, but I would expect it to be pretty low numbers, at least in the short term, going forward. So, I don't know why I just highlighted Beth's message to Sharon, but there you go. Pika 61. Do you know if Royal Caribbean has slightly increased its capacity on ships? Heard Freedom had almost 2K recently. I believe that's the plan. I've not there. Let me put it this way, Pika. I have not heard of like a formal like, hey, they've never announced actual percentages going forward. But that is interesting because during the earnings call that Royal Caribbean had last week, they mentioned that they would be systematically increasing capacity as ships restart. You just heard me talk about the Symphony example. And I suspect that's probably part of it. I'm not surprised. I mean, Freedom's been sailing since the beginning of July. We're now a full month in. She can clearly handle more. So, yeah, absolutely. Danielle checks the blog every day for new news. Yeah, so don't get too wrapped up in it, but I appreciate you checking the blog. I know it's very self-serving for me to tell you all that you should be checking on Royal Caribbean news. That's true. But I guess what my point is don't, especially if you don't have a cruise coming up very soon or it's for a different itinerary than you're on, it's, if I've learned one thing during the restart process, it has been that everything changes very quickly. Just when you know it all changes again. And at the end of the day, until you get like a day or two before your cruise, they can all change one more time. So don't get, just try to go with the flow as best you can. Don't get too wrapped up in what's happening today because it could all be different tomorrow. That's my advice to remain sane in those weeks leading up to your cruise, like Jeff Leonard, who is at 27 days, if I remember correctly, and still checking his calendar. Yep, it is still Monday, Jeff. Can you believe it? It was still Monday 45 minutes ago, and still here we are. So, actually, Stacy, the Harmony Transatlantic was not canceled. That was a mistake. It is not canceled. Not canceled. Sherry Awesome says this is here. Hello and welcome. Thank you for joining us here. There you go, Colleen. Me and the boys will be singing sailing all night. So I've met Beth finally on Freedom of the Seas, and I apologize for singing that Kiss song every single time to her. But listen, if your name is Beth, you're gonna get, like I told you, the only person who could probably trump her would be if MEI Travel ever hired a travel agent named Layla. If anybody ever comes in here named Layla, you're getting some air clapping thrown at you a lot. I'm just gonna tell you that right now. Oh man. Joe's going on Harmony of the Seas at the end of the month. She knows no shows listed. What is the onboard entertainment like? What will the occupancy be like? Don't know yet, Joe. Don't know. I think the entertainment will be there, Joe. But I think you're like one of the first sailings back. It's going to be the good thing about being one of the first ships back is you get to finally sail again and be one of the first people back on board. The bad thing about it, Joe, is it's not you. It's not like you're not looking in the right places. The information just simply doesn't exist yet to know what to expect. As opposed to if you waited until a couple of months after she restarted, then you have a pretty good idea. Like people going on Freedom right now, Freedom of the Seas, have a really good idea of what to expect because there's been a lot of people who've gone before that. But since Harmony hasn't sailed yet, it's a little bit of a different situation. So it's probably not the answer you're looking for, but remains to be seen is the best answer I can give you on that one. And holy moly, another epic super chat. Woo! Tom coming in with a super. Wait a minute. I think it's this one.
Your cousin from Boston.
Tom's from. I don't know if you're from Boston, Tom, but you're from Massachusetts, so that goes out to you, buddy. By January 14th, Vision of the Seas got canceled, so I booked an 11-nighter on Anthem. That's a fly to Fort Lauderdale. Take the second part of the Vision of the Seas cruise. Whatever works, my friend. That's awesome. Listen, I'm glad you took a negative, your cruise being canceled, to booking 2 cruises instead. We love it. We love it. Paul says, what we learned during what have you learned the shutdown phase, the long wait phase, and now in the startup phase? I've learned a lot, honestly. Part of that, I think, well, there's a little bit of that answer, Paul, in tomorrow's YouTube video. I've got the top 10 truths of cruising right now. But basically, the check-in times really matter. Obviously, you also want to kind of stop and smell the roses a little bit more. We took for granted what we had. But I've also learned the importance of planning ahead more than, especially booking early, because of the limited capacity, there's very few options available if you wait too long to book. And that burned me a lot in the during the summer. I probably wanted to do more sailings, but everything was sold out. So booking ahead, calling your MEI travel agent and letting them help you out with that as fast as possible. Stacey, will Harmony have to do a test cruise because of the US? So the answer, Stacey, is if everything's it depends on the conditional sail order. Right now, the CDC's conditional sail order, which requires test cruises, is set to expire in early November. If it does expire in early November, Stacey, then Harmony will not have to do a test cruise. But if it gets extended, the CSO gets extended, cruise lines have said that they're still going to honor it. And as a result, she would then have to do a test cruise. That would be correct. Hey, Ray Thompson with a super chat. Thank you, Ray. Appreciate it, buddy. Thank you. Travel Spree is here. Man, Fane and Laura, I was just thinking about you guys today. Why was I thinking about you guys? In not a weird way, not a creepy way. But we're just talking about awesome. Well, I hate the word vloggers. It always sounds like it's a diminutive, but good friends, right? So good to see you guys here. Much appreciated. We got another epic super chat coming in. Oh, thank you, Kevin Kalinowski. Bought my first cruise to Hawaii on Ovation next September. Anything I should expect from this is a repositioning cruise or other first-timer tips? Ooh. Well, there's a lot of first-timer tips. Absolutely. I don't know where I could really start. Number one, when it's a repositioning cruise, you're going to have very few children on board, which may or may not matter to you. I don't know if it really does. Number two, a lot of sea days. But what's nice about it is take advantage of you're on an awesome ship. So you'll have plenty of time to see it and do it all. Usually I tell people, your first cruise, you really can't do it all. But depending on how long your repo cruise is, it might actually be able to do it all. There's enough time for all of that. So you never know. Holy moly. Dude. I mean, thank you. We got a 12-man proud level super chat coming in. Wow. I got to hit everything over here.
Your cousin from Boston.
Dude. Thank you. Way too generous. Holy moly. Are they still limiting seating in the main dining room on Ovation? Can you make reservations of the main dining room? Show up in the app? I'm not seeing that option. As far as I know, the answer is yes, 12th man. So I have no reason to believe that hasn't changed unless somebody has experienced something different. Again, as you know, things can change quite often. Can you make reservations for the main showroom? Do you mean are we talking about the theater? Once you're on the ship, you can. It doesn't usually, as I recall correctly, and I've done this on other ships, I was able to make reservations before the ship. I was not able to make reservations before the cruise in the app. It would see the option to be grayed out. Then once you're on board the ship, you could. As an example, I remember booking the Comedian on there, and that was an option in there. So, yeah. Wow, dude. Thank you so much. You are an absolute legend. Incredible. Thank you. Gary Mueller Jr., the super chat. Thank you. My generosity today has been off the charts. Holy moly, guys. Thank you so much. Going to cheat on Royal Caribbean this weekend and try MSC. Can we ban Gary? No, we're not going to ban Gary. But kind of nervous. Haven't been on anything but Royal in a long time. I'm going to pass the cheap balcony from Miami, $149 a person. Listen, Gary, you know what they say. If you truly love something, set it free. And if it comes back to you, then you know. We're setting you free, Gary. But just remember, who loves you, baby? Just remember that. So, where can I pre-purchase the liquor package in the app? No, go to Royal Caribbean's website and then go to the cruise planner. So log into your account, go to your cruise on the website, and then you can book it through the cruise planner. So, do you recommend booking excursions directly through Royal Caribbean via online or the app, or using a travel agent's third-party offerings? Either one. I look at both. I honestly don't have a hard and fast rule. It depends. There's a lot of good reasons. There's good reasons to book through Royal Caribbean. There's good reasons to book through a third party. I would say no matter what you book, make sure it's fully refundable. Royal Caribbean excursions are fully refundable. Make sure third-party ones are as well, especially if your ship can't dock there or your cruise is canceled. You want to make sure you're covered in that situation. There's the advantage of booking through Royal Caribbean is quite simply that, number one, the tours you're booking are vetted. You don't have to worry too much about them being some unknown element. Royal Caribbean stands by these. They're vetted. If your tour was late, they get you back on the ship. Those kinds of things. That is nice to have. Obviously, booking on your own, you have a lot more choices. You may also be able to get a tour for much cheaper than booking through Royal Caribbean. Depends on the port. In the Caribbean, the prices don't seem to be that different. In Europe, they tend to be super different. So you can see a big difference there. I've done both. I'll continue to do both. There's not I don't think you should limit yourself to one or the other. I think in any port, you look at both options and then make the best choice for you right there. So, well, wow, we've been live now for over an hour, guys. Yeah. Dennis wants to know, this is probably an ask, but I'm getting late here. Do you know why Radiance Disease was canceled? We had 3 booked. Basically, Radiance just isn't going to restart in time for those cruises. That's why. She's got a restart plan. All the ships now have a restart plan, but Radiance is not restarting until a little bit down the line over there. So that's essentially the short answer to that. Yeah, and I agree with Smoky Bandit on this one. Just do your homework on third-party excursions, just like a trip advice. Yep. Any tour, there's always pros and cons to booking on your own and doing something with a third party. Just if you are going with third party, make sure they're legit. Make sure there's good reviews of them. So I didn't actually practice what I preached in one situation. We were in Bonaire, and I booked a ATV. Ended up being fine, but we met the guy at the pier, and we get in he's like, "Oh, my car's over here." We get in his car, and I'm like, "Oh my god, I'm getting in a car with a stranger, and I have no idea anything about this guy." Right? Like, this is the end of Matt. Luckily, the guy was super amazing and super cool, but don't ever get yourself in that situation. Do your check-in, or do your homework, I should say. Do your check-in also, but do your homework. So, Tanner wants to know, is there an excursion where I can drive the ship from port to port? There is not, sir. There is not. All right. Well, on that note, guys, we're going to head on out of here. We've reached an hour. Holy moly, time flies. But you know what? If you were saying, Matt, I would love more YouTube fun here, talking Royal Caribbean, wish granted, guys, because I'm going to be on Mariner of the Seas Wednesday. How about a live broadcast on Wednesday from Mariner of the Seas and Thursday from Perfect Day at CocoCay? We're back again, baby. Live broadcast, more live broadcasts this week, brought to you by 12th Man Proud and all the super chatters tonight. You guys earned it. You deserve it. You're going to get it. So we're going to have some live broadcasts coming from on board the Mariner of the Seas test cruise. I'll be sharing with you guys this week, so look for that as well. In the meantime, check out RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com. Plenty more Royal Caribbean news, information, fun, advice. It's all waiting for you guys at RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com. Until then, till our next broadcast, have a great day, everybody. Enjoy. Stay safe out there. Do something fun. And we'll talk again very soon right here on YouTube. See you guys.